I really do think that the prevailing thought to be had coming out of tonight's Monday Night Raw, June 18th, 2018, is that the 3 hour formula really deteriorates and just destroys a show that, on the other hand, was comprised of some very enjoyable moments and could have actually been a rather good edition of Monday Night Raw had it been 2 hours, because tonight's Raw started off jam-packed with shots all around, and from there on out, after that great Intercontinental Championship contest that gave us a new Intercontinental Champion in Dolph Ziggler here tonight, after that, this show just deteriorated into the usual garbage that we get each and every single week on Monday Night Raw. And not only does that speak to this 3 hour formula just being an absolute cancer to the product that we get each and every single week, but it also speaks to the WWE creative team not being able to keep our attentions and write compelling television for all 3 hours of this show, despite the fact that they do have a roster at their disposal that otherwise can produce a show where there should be care and where there should be some great wrestling regardless of what the time is. Because you see every single week on NXT, especially coming out of NXT TakeOver, of course, Chicago, which we saw earlier this weekend. Of course, coming out of a show like that, you really see how a wrestling show can be produced for 2.5 to 3 hours and how it can leave you wanting more each and every single week on NXT. It can leave you wanting more, and that is exactly what we should be getting out of Raw each and every single week, but we're not getting that. And it's not just the 3 hour format that is to be at fault, but it is all the filler, and it is the lack of creativity and the lack of, quite frankly, care that is had each and every single week when Raw is produced that is contributing to this lack of television. Because when they care, you see that this show can be very, very, very exciting and very good. And you saw that in the opening segment with Ronda Rousey. Yes, a lot of the success of Ronda Rousey can be attributed to the fact that she is an amazing athlete and that she has really adapted to the ring very well. And believe me, I will give Ronda Rousey all the praise in the world when we're talking about that segment in depth on this Raw review. But one thing as well that you can really tell is going into Ronda Rousey is care. When WWE cares, you can get some fantastic storytelling and great character portrayal. WWE cared about Braun Strowman. He's one of the most over baby faces in the WWE right now. WWE cares about what they're doing with Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins is on a hot streak like never before seen from a babyface in modern day WWE and from the Seth Rollins character in general. And it's clear to tell that WWE cares and WWE wants to nurture Ronda Rousey, and that care is being shown in everything that her character does. You would not see any other character on WWE television, any other women's superstar on WWE television attacking Kurt Angle and attacking referees and getting this suspension storyline and getting such an exciting storyline with so much aggression behind it, and you wouldn't see her character being portrayed exactly how it needs to be portrayed if WWE did not know that the stakes were high behind Ronda Rousey, and if this wasn't a pet project that they nurtured and cared for themselves. You would not see Ronda Rousey have such prevailing success if it wasn't for the care that is there. And that's just an example here, and this is why I keep throwing this word care around, because when there is care, you will see the fans react and you will see the fans themselves get invested, and on top of that, you will be producing television that is correct, that is exciting, that is driving ratings and driving people to your product. And it just leaves the question in my mind, why doesn't WWE put this much effort and investment and care, once again that word pops up, into everything else? Because if they did, you would not be seeing the piss poor show that tonight ended up being each and every single week. You would not see the piss poor show that Money in the Bank in many aspects ended up being. You would not see the piss poor show that was Raw last week, the week before that. You would not have seen that. You would be seeing a WWE product that was full of excitement and opportunity in the air for everybody who comes up. And you know why I know that? Because NXT is on the WWE Network each and every single week, and there is care being put into NXT. There is many men and women being nurtured down there and cared for, and there's investment in that. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, Velveteen Dream, all these people, Ricochet, they're being nurtured, and everybody has investment in that. And once again, sorry to throw this word at you a bazillion times, but there is care in each and every single one of those feuds, characters, and an importance behind every single match that you saw at that NXT TakeOver show that is very much missing from a show like Money in the Bank, even from the bigger shows like WrestleMania. And that is the problem with a lot of what you're seeing. A lot of people are showing up and they're collecting paychecks, and that doesn't just apply to the superstars, which are at fault at some degree as well, but that mostly applies to the creative team members and especially upper management, who they see this company doing better and better and better as far as business goes, and they're not relating that to the quality of television. They're not relating that to the fans who are tuning in each and every single week. Instead, they choose to ignore those fans, and that's why we're getting storylines like Roman Reigns being the top dog, even though every single pay-per-view matchup that he has had coming out of WrestleMania and at WrestleMania has been a critically panned failure, with people not just reacting terribly, booing, chanting things that have nothing to do with the match, not just throwing around beach balls and putting no attention to what they're seeing in the ring, but walking out of the ring. It has gotten to that level, and once again, there is no reason for, once again, the people backstage to care, because they're just there collecting the big money, because that's what somehow WWE is making right now. They've marketed their business very, very well, and they've catered their business as far as the business industry goes very well, but they continue to disappoint the wrestling fans, the foundation of all their success, and they continue to ignore that, and that can result in a big, big plummet in WWE. And right now we're not seeing the direct aspects of that, but it does matter. And this is why we're getting shows like this, and even shows like what we saw here tonight from this very small show, one Monday Night Raw out of 52 that we're going to see in the year. Even what we saw here tonight is just a driving signal that something needs to change in this company. And each and every single week, many of us podcasters come on here and pinpoint numerous of the flaws, numerous of the mistakes, but nobody listens. And that is the issue here. That is the question, the golden question. You can react, you can voice your opinion all you want, but when is it going to come time that WWE actually listens to what we're saying? So I don't know what the answer is to that question. Maybe some of you can make that up in your minds for yourselves, but that is what I was thinking coming out of this Monday Night Raw. That is the thought that all of this comes back to and divulges into when you look at the overall result of tonight's Monday Night Raw. It started off as a show with a lot of energy and motivation and angst and excitement, and it turned into complete garbage by the end of the night. and quite frankly, that is a disappointing result. But besides that, we did get a new Intercontinental Champion here tonight. Ronda Rousey was suspended for 30 days after an absolutely fantastic segment involving her, Kurt Angle, and the new Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss. That divulged into nothingness as we saw the continuations of the Tag Team Championship feuds, which don't matter. We saw tag team matches on this show here tonight between directionless members of the Raw roster like Kevin Owens, who have nothing to do with each other, and we saw the declaration here tonight of what is going to happen with the Universal Championship, and apparently the number one contender for that very title will be crowned in a multi-man matchup at Extreme Rules, the participants of which yet have to be named, but quite frankly can be very easily predicted after what we saw here tonight. So we're going to talk about everything that happened on the show here tonight. If you did not watch it, I'm going to go very, very deep into everything that we saw here tonight, because that's what we do each and every single week right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. That's what you get each and every single week when you listen to Joel Perez. That is the voice you're listening to right now. When you listen to such things and videos and podcasts that we produce right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, you get the honest truth, and you're getting that honest truth right now on your Monday Night Raw review, and you're getting that honest truth last night on your Money in the Bank review and results video. Make sure to go check that out. Money in the Bank was the pay-per-view that went down last night. If you did not catch the Ringside Wrestling official review for Money in the Bank, make sure to go check it out. We speak the truth about Money in the Bank and the inconsistent, lopsided-esque show that ended up being. We talk about everything in detail. The two Money in the Bank winners who walked out of that show with the briefcases. Of course, Alexa Bliss's cash-in on that very night. We talk about the AJ Styles Nakamura match, the Money in the Bank ladder matches, and the quality of those themselves. Each and every single thing about that show, we covered all the bases, so make sure to go check that out. And another show I covered all the bases for, another show that I reviewed that happened this past weekend, was of course NXT TakeOver Chicago. Make sure to go check it out. That show is an example of how WWE could be done right, and that is what has sparked a lot of this discussion in my mind that we started off this show here tonight with. After watching a show like NXT TakeOver Chicago, there's a lot of thought about why what we're seeing there is not being seen here. There's no excuse why the NXT product should not be rubbing off on what we're seeing on the main roster. Make sure to go check out NXT TakeOver Chicago review. It is up on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Don't miss it, because there was some great stuff spoken right there, as well as to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Weekly Monday Night Raw and Smackdown live reviews, preview and predictions for all the pay-per-views, preview and predictions for Money in the Bank was up on the channel, not NXT TakeOver. Unfortunately, rare occasion, pure laziness took into play right there. But make sure to go check out all the other content. 5 video upload for this past week, so there's a bunch of stuff for all of you to go check out, and it ain't necessarily the shortest content, I'll tell you that much. So make sure to go check it all out. It is on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel right now, and you cannot miss it. Links for those past 5 videos that were uploaded this past week can be found in the description down below, so make sure to go look down there. And of course, if you enjoy what you're hearing here, to not miss out, to get all the content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, the best way to support, the best way to not miss anything on this channel is to click on that subscribe button. Make sure to do it. Subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. There's no doubt about that. And click that notification bell if you enjoy what you're hearing here. Click that notification bell. Of course, you'll get those notifications straight to your mobile device. Like this video as well if you enjoy what you're hearing here. And comment what you're thinking coming out of Money in the Bank. Tell me everything that you are thinking. And Monday Night Raw here tonight, of course. What are you thinking? Extreme Rules. What type of pay-per-view is that going to shape up to be? Leave it all in the comment section below. Voice your opinions. What did you think about my opening rant? Do you have any takeaways from that? Did you realize anything important? Tell me, what is your mindset because I would love to hear it in the comment section below. Because for now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going straight into your Monday Night Raw review. And like I mentioned, Ronda Rousey started off the show here tonight, and this was no lousy start to the show. The show started off with a bang after this one. That's something that I can firmly and safely tell you. But it was Ronda Rousey who started off the show here tonight. And I enjoyed the hell out of this segment. And I'll tell you why. Because it showed an edge to Ronda that I really did not think that they were going to go with. It showed an aggression that I was surprised that WWE went for, and they took it to the next level. And I was surprised because that's not something that they usually do, but they went there this time around. And quite frankly, I didn't even realize how great what they did was here tonight until it was happening before our very eyes. Ronda Rousey is suspended after her attack of the Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, and of course the Raw General Manager Kurt Angle here tonight. Here is the segment that we saw here tonight to start off the show.
I thought you'd be doing physical therapy with Nia Jax, but did you come out here to show me all the bruises and welts from the Money in the Bank briefcase that I left all over your body? Or did you come out here to learn a little lesson because clearly you don't understand the difference between UFC and WWE? No, it's true, because last night what I did was 100% perfectly legal. Now, it's not all bad. Rhonda, I will tell you this. Last night, you looked like you were just seconds away from making Nia tap. But I guess we will never know now, will we? You're out here because you just couldn't stand the fact that last night the headlines were about you. Last night, ESPN did an interview with me. Bleacher Report did a story on me. Sports Illustrated, Forbes, CBS News, me. Because I'm the Raw Women's Champion, Rhonda. And you are, I'll say it, irrelevant. And if you ever want a championship opportunity, you better get in the back of the line, you overhyped rookie.
So from this point on, Ronda Rousey attacked Alexa Bliss, and I can explain what happened from here on out. This was very fantastic because not only did Ronda Rousey attack Alexa Bliss, beat the crap out of her, in fact, but she attacks Kurt Angle in this fit of rage. Kurt Angle tries to break this up from even happening, and she does like this judo throw on Kurt Angle, just beats the shit out of him with the Money in the Bank briefcase with Alexa Bliss still had out there for some goddamn reason. And it was fantastic because Ronda Rousey, if there was an aspect of her character that you needed to emphasize coming in to the WWE, it was this aggression that Ronda Rousey has within her. This is an aggressive fighter. She wants to win. She wants the gold, and she doesn't care whoever gets in her way in the path of doing that, in the path of her sending her message. If she feels you disrespect her, it is over for you. This is the baddest woman on the planet. She will hunt you the hell down. And that's exactly what she did here tonight. She doesn't give a crap that she beat the shit out of Alexa Bliss and got suspended. She got her point across here tonight, and that was fantastic as far as the character of Ronda Rousey goes. She beat the shit out of the officials as well, which is another thing that crossed the line here tonight on Ronda Rousey's behalf, and she got her message across. That was fantastic. The character of Ronda needed that, and that was great. Clearly the 30-day suspension fits the part-time schedule that Ronda Rousey is beholding. She's going to be like Brock Lesnar, and she'll be out till it's time to build towards SummerSlam. So clearly, they're taking advantage of this part-time schedule. And just like Brock Lesnar was suspended a couple years back when he was holding the WWE Championship, or when he lost the WWE Championship to Seth Rollins after WrestleMania 31, to explain the absence from television that Brock Lesnar would be occurring. They did exactly that with Ronda Rousey here tonight. She's been suspended for 30 days, and I think this was portrayed very, very well here tonight, and it was a good first night for Alexa Bliss as Raw Women's Champion, solely because of the fact that Ronda went into Killer Ronda mode, and WWE did exactly what they needed to here tonight, and I commend them. But again, this shows that when WWE cares, or when they have to care, which they do because Ronda's a big investment, Ronda's going to be a big headliner for their women's division. She's a big part of the reason why Fox signed WWE onto their network. They got to push Ronda as this big, big star, and that's exactly what they did here tonight. They positioned her in a way where she did what she needed to do, and where her character take that next step to really become this mercenary that you do not want to mess with. This creates that atmosphere more and more of that Stone Cold-esque vibe. Clearly, she's never going to replicate that, but it adds to that nobody, it was Alexa Bliss who was disrespecting me, but nobody is fucking with me. I don't care if it's Kurt Angle. I don't care if it's these referees. If you're getting in the way of my agenda, and that's to beat the shit out of Alexa Bliss right now, you're taking this ride. I absolutely enjoyed the hell out of that, and I cannot wait to see where they take this with Ronda Rousey. But as far as Alexa Bliss goes, as far as these next 30 days go, it looks like we're going to be getting Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss going into Extreme Rules, and that is not a good reality. But either way, that opening segment is exactly the shot in the arm that Raw needed to go into coming out of Money in the Bank. But quite frankly, from there, it all turned to shit after this Intercontinental Championship match, which was a very, very shocking way to take the title off of Seth Rollins. Now, the commentators in this scenario kept drilling on the fact, because it was Seth Rollins who came out here tonight on the microphone, and he said, listen, whoever wants to come out here, I defended my Intercontinental Championship last night at Money in the Bank against Elias successfully. I'm riding on this high tide. I'm feeling good. You know what? I'm going to defend my Intercontinental Championship again here tonight. And the commentators were actually very, very good in their role here tonight, at least I felt, because they drilled the fact home. Seth Rollins, he went through a grueling match. If that was an intense matchup with Elias, he might not be 100% here tonight. It might not be the smartest idea for him to be issuing this open challenge here tonight on Monday Night Raw. What is Seth Rollins getting himself into here? This was unnecessary, and it came out to bit him in the ass, because it was Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler who came out here tonight to challenge Seth Rollins. It was a question of which one of them it would be. It ended up being Dolph Ziggler. Either one of them was going to put on a great matchup with Seth Rollins, a great TV match, to say the least, and that's exactly what happened. It was Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins put on a great TV match. But what surprised me here, what I was expecting, was Elias to come out and get revenge on Seth Rollins, who cost him the Intercontinental Championship last night after he grabbed the tights. That was an illegal move. You would expect Elias to be seeking vengeance for that. No, instead, this matchup came down to a finish, and it was Dolph Ziggler who grabbed the tights of Seth Rollins here tonight, perhaps giving him his comeuppance indirectly for what Seth Rollins did last night, which is a great way to tell a story right there. And again, when WWE cares, they'll put some attention to detail in there. They'll put some effort in there. But either way, it was Dolph Ziggler who walked out of this matchup Intercontinental Champion. I think everybody was very, very shocked when this ended up being the result. But it's not a result that I am against. I think Dolph Ziggler, especially in this reborn phase that he is in with Drew McIntyre, this fits that very, very well, because especially whenever you want to pursue this feud of Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler, now you have the Intercontinental Championship there, making this an even bigger feud to proceed with. Seth Rollins definitely added some prestige to that Intercontinental Championship, and I think the way Ziggler and McIntyre are rolling, especially with this storyline, that they are just this new energy, and they are this new reborn wake-up call for the WWE locker room, that this is what you got to do. I think this is a great way to advance that storyline, because now they have gold to back up the fact that the effort that they're putting in, it ain't for nothing. They are success. If you want to be successful, you got to put your grind in, and you have to work for it. And it seems like everybody else has become complacent, and this adds to that storyline, because now everybody else's complacency has allowed the Intercontinental Championship to fall into the hands of this faction that is Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, more directly into the hands of Dolph Ziggler. And I think this Intercontinental Championship can play a very great role when it comes to adding some gold to the feud, adding some leverage to the feud that Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre will be when the time comes. Maybe it will happen going into SummerSlam. I would love to see it, but the rematch for the Intercontinental Championship has been announced next week on Monday Night Raw. I don't think they're just going to hotshot the title off of Ziggler. I definitely see him keeping it. And as far as Seth Rollins goes, he might continue his feud with Elias. I don't know where he really goes after this Intercontinental Championship. Seth Rollins was rolling with this title. He was having great match after great match after great matchup, bro. The night he won it, that was a great triple threat at WrestleMania. He came out, he defended it against multiple comers. He did the open challenge for a couple weeks. Great matchup with The Miz at Backlash. That was something that absolutely, That was something that actually push this Intercontinental Championship reign over the edge. Elias last night, another great matchup for Seth Rollins. Here tonight with Dolph Ziggler, another great matchup. But here tonight, the title was taken from him. But quite frankly, to me, it doesn't really matter, because I feel like this title is in very good hands. Dolph Ziggler, great in-ring performer. There's no doubt about that. And especially with this storyline that is going on with Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, there is leverage to back this reign up. So I'm fine with it, and I'm just sitting back as a fan right now, asking myself, where does this go? And quite frankly, excited to see where this goes. Dolph Ziggler takes the Intercontinental Championship from Seth Rollins here tonight, and quite frankly, I love it. I definitely love it. Renee Young was backstage with Ziggler and McIntyre, and Ziggler announces that Monday Night Rollins is canceled. You can go cry online or write a blog, but there's no reboot coming. It's over. Ziggler says this is their show now. McIntyre says they told everyone, and this is just the beginning, the first of many titles to come. McIntyre says, unlike former champions before them, they will not allow this win to make them soft. Ziggler knocks the others in the back and says the difference between them is that when they say something, they mean it. And from there on out, ladies and gentlemen, Monday Night Raw died. And it died a very sad, sad death. Bobby Roode versus Kurt Hawkins is what follows this up. Oh my God, could Bobby Roode be more directionless right now on Monday Night Raw? And that is something that you're really going to start to notice on Monday Night Raw. The amount of directionless superstars that there are on this brand. And we're going to go on pointing this crap out as we continue here tonight on Monday Night Raw. And there were numerous superstars who weren't on this show, by the way. Sami Zayn wasn't on this show. Nia Jax wasn't on this show. Where are those two superstars going? I don't know. Maybe Nia will get back in the title hunt with Alexa Bliss. But where's Nia going? Or where's Sami going? You don't know where Sami's going to be positioned when he's back on Monday Night Raw. Apparently, he wasn't here tonight because he's selling the injuries that he occurred last night at the hands of Bobby Lashley. But either way, it was Bobby Roode versus Kurt Hawkins. And what the hell does Bobby Roode have to do with Kurt Hawkins? What does this do for Bobby Roode, a win like this against a guy who has 203, now 204 straight losses? Nothing. Bobby Roode won with the glorious DDT. That's the only guy that Bobby Roode can beat on this goddamn brand. From here on out, we went to the current men's Money in the Bank holder, and it was Braun Strowman here tonight. I thought there was a much better place that you could have inserted Braun Strowman here tonight, and we will talk about that. But this segment was prevalent here tonight on the show because it was Braun Strowman coming out to talk about his Money in the Bank ladder match win. And Kevin Owens actually attempted here tonight to make a friend, of course, of Braun Strowman in his heelish ways, but that was not the case. Braun Strowman was not buying any of that. And here was the segment that we were gifted here tonight. Whether it was good or not, well, that's up to you people. Let's hear it.
I stepped in the ring with 7 other superstars, and I stomped, and I smashed, and I snatched this contract. And now, all Brock Lesnar has to do is show his face, and I will cash this contract in and become the new Universal Champion. Because the beast is gonna get these hands.
I hope so.
Look, I'm not here to steal your spotlight. I'm not here to get retribution. I couldn't get it if I wanted to. I'm here because I want to be the first guy from that locker room to be man enough to say, congratulations, Braun. I knew you'd win. I knew you'd win that contract. I did. And you know that I knew you'd win. That's why I went around trying to talk all our opponents into banding together to neutralize you, but nobody would listen to me. And look, I might be foolish, but right now I hope you listen to me, Braun, because you did it just like you said you would. You are Mr. Monster in the Bank. And now you have this incredible opportunity, but Braun, you need to be smart about this. You need to have a strategy, and that's where I come in. How many guys do we have to watch our backs, huh? Who's watching our back around here? In fairness, you haven't needed anybody. You haven't needed anybody to watch your back so far, but last night, your life changed when you won that. Who can you count on around here? Look, man, at WrestleMania, when you needed a tag team partner, you had to go in the crowd and pick out a 10-year-old kid. As for me, my best friend, Sami Zayn, was injured at the hands of Bobby Lashley last night, and now I have no idea when the next time I'll see him is. I don't know when he'll be back here, which leaves us, both of us, standing here alone. Both of us in need of a friend. Look, okay, maybe friend is too strong of a word. You don't like me, I get it, and that's fine, but what I'm saying is maybe we can help each other. Or, let's call it what it, maybe we can use each other. I do something for you, you do something for me, because Braun, unlike you, I know how prestigious it is to be the Universal Champion. So maybe after we maybe after we use each other and you successfully cash in that contract and you become Universal Champion, you and I can have a match for the Universal title. I do something for you, you do something for me. And Braun, we can start this tonight, right? You and me, Monster and Man.
So Owens extends his hand for a handshake. And from here on out, this is overly extended and irrelevant. But from here on out, Owens tries to let go, walk away, and it is Braun Strowman who power slams him. And Owens actually made a very convincing case. Only thing that I was left questioning is, what the hell is it here that, quote unquote, Kevin Owens wants to use Braun Strowman for? That was the only question I was left asking. Not really like I cared to seek an answer. But either way, this segment, all it came down to, and all I ended up thinking, I just finished telling you how Bobby Roode is directionless and how Bobby Roode desperately needs a goddamn heel turn. I'm sick and tired of saying that each and every single week on Monday Night Raw reviews, and I utter it again here tonight. But Kevin Owens, after this segment, I mean, what the hell was the point of this? He came across as absolutely directionless as well, and that is an absolutely unfortunate line that is coming out of my mouth right now, but that's exactly what that segment screamed at my face. There's nothing that we have for this guy right now, so we're just going to put him in a meaningless program with Braun Strowman. I mean, what is the point of that? This is just a buffer until Braun Strowman cashes in his Universal Championship, or his Money in the Bank contract for the Universal Championship. I mean, Braun Strowman has proven on multiple occasions that he is much better than Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens at the hands of Braun Strowman is a defeated man. So what is the point of pursuing a feud between these two guys if that is even what they are going for here? Which I can't even tell. So this screams directionless. That's the second guy. One is Bobby Roode. Two is Kevin Owens. So that is what we got here tonight. Either way, we went to Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy versus Rhino and Heath Slater, and this led, I mean, wasn't the tag team championship match between Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy and the B team supposed to happen at Money in the Bank? Am I wrong to remember that? Didn't they announce that for Money in the Bank? I have no idea, but either way, do not tell me they're going to extend this going into Extreme Rules. That sounds pathetic in and of itself. Either way, the B team suddenly appeared on the screen before this match had even started, and in costume, doing their best Wyatt and Hardy impressions, they do some comedy and warn the champs that they are coming for their titles. The bell rings and this match starts. This is pathetic. This is absolutely pathetic. Nobody cares about this feud. And this feud is just a reminder of how dead this tag team division is. I mean, no knock to Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is very, very prestigious. And, I mean, so much more should have been doing with this Woken Hardy character. And I feel guilty now for just giving up on this crap. Like, I don't care anymore. I really, really don't care anymore. And all the promise that this could have had, and all the momentum, and all the t-shirts that could have been sold, I mean, that's all gone now, pretty much. I have no idea what the situation is here. Very, very unfortunate stuff. But Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt clearly beat Rhino and Heath Slater, who are a team with no momentum or any luster. So the tag team champions knocking these guys off. What is even the point? What is even the point? What was the point of this match? And that's something that I noticed more and more progressively on Monday Night Raw. All these matches with no meaning to them. How about you book a matchup to actually matter, to actually have an impact on something going in the weeks forward? You got to be kidding me with this one. Either way, Kurt Angle was backstage when the constable, Baron Corbin, walked in. He says Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon is pleased with how Angle had handled Ronda Rousey. Angle says to tell Stephanie that he didn't do it for her and he doesn't appreciate, and then Corbin hands Angle the phone and tells him to relay the message to Stephanie himself. Angle takes the phone and tells Stephanie he's listening as we go back to commercial. Back from the break, Angle is still on the phone with Stephanie, and he says yes, that he understands that this is big news and he will make an announcement for later tonight. Angle says yes, he will run everything by Constable Corbin as well. More directionless people on Monday Night Raw. Jinder Mahal and Chad Gable. Quite frankly, I cannot care less that Jinder Mahal is directionless right now after his terrible feud with Roman Reigns. Coming out of that matchup last night, which was an absolute train wreck, I cannot care less that Jinder Mahal is directionless. I'd rather him be directionless. But as far as Chad Gable goes, I feel like Chad Gable is being drastically underutilized on this brand. He should be this uppity underdog type story. He should be being used in that capacity. And the first couple weeks he was on Raw, he was given an outlet and an opportunity to really show his skills in the middle of that ring. And that's exactly what he has. Skills, in-ring talent, pure natural skill in the middle of that ring. And a lot of that not being utilized on Monday Night Raw. He is being very mishandled, and he should be utilized on the show. But once again, I come here and tell you that he is directionless. Jinder Mahal versus Chad Gable, nothing of any avail in this matchup. This matchup was very by the books. And how many times have we seen Jinder Mahal versus Chad Gable? These superstar shakeups, the very point of a draft to begin with was so we can get these fresh, interesting, unique match types each and every single week on these shows. Well, Jinder Mahal versus Chad Gable, this is like the 4th time that we've gotten this matchup. Holy shit. Jinder Mahal wins here tonight. Who the hell cares? Do you know? Do I know? So, whatever. We go to Sasha Banks and Bayley versus the Riot Squad. And quite frankly, this matchup, it was quite interesting because WWE had this lead into the brawl between Sasha and Bayley and the continuation of Sasha and Bayley's feud here tonight. Sasha and Bayley lost this matchup, which is actually a very good thing for the Riot Squad, even though it was Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan here tonight who absolutely have no momentum. They did manage to take over and win the matchup here tonight. Bayley charges her, distracting the referee. She charges Liv Morgan, I believe. Either way, Logan took advantage and rocked Banks while the referee was distracted by Bayley. That led to Liv Morgan being able to roll up Sasha Banks for the win. And this miscommunication between Sasha and Bayley led to Sasha shoving Bayley after this matchup was over, which actually led to, when we came back from the break, it led to Bayley telling Sasha Banks to stop backstage. This led to Bayley saying she's not done with Banks to stop. Banks says she's done. A brawl breaks out, similar to the one that we saw backstage in the locker rooms a couple months back. But you see, that was never continued upon. That was never addressed. But here tonight, this team seemed to take a turn for the heated. Hopefully WWE actually manages to continue upon this from week to week and address what we've seen this time around, since things did heat up. Later in the night, we saw Sasha Banks taking off in her car. Bayley, after getting the shitty end of this attack and pretty much losing the brawl backstage after even starting it, she chased down Sasha Banks and she was like, listen, I'm not done with you, Sasha. And Sasha's like, I don't want any of you. She got in a car and she drove away from Bayley once again here tonight. So this feud, clearly people care about it. Clearly people are invested in it. But there was a time and a place to capitalize upon this. The time and the place to capitalize upon this was going into WrestleMania. You could have even once again capitalized on this going into SummerSlam, but the way WWE has every single little fiber of their television set up right now, none of this makes any type of sense, and none of this sets up for Sasha or Bayley to have a feud over the women's title, which if you actually go back to a video that I made about a week and a half ago, how I'd book Raw going into SummerSlam, it's set up for this Sasha and Bayley feud, which was already being built to be over the Raw Women's Championship and to actually have some actual luster and meaning behind it, instead of this being just a grudge feud. Instead of this being just a grudge feud with an Alexa Bliss in the spotlight, but instead WWE chooses to give the Money in the Bank to Alexa Bliss instead of setting up a situation where it's Sasha or Bayley with this women's title. No, they give it to Alexa Bliss, and here tonight, last night at Money in the Bank, Alexa Bliss is your women's champion. And whatever we're seeing between Sasha and Bayley, I quite frankly can't care, because I know that WWE isn't going to capitalize on this the way that they should and should have. They've had multiple opportunities to do this, and they want to capitalize on this now. But these women haven't been given the proper push. This has been stop and start. And quite frankly, they probably will, if booking this correctly, will get me to care. But at the end of the day, there was a time and a place, and there was a much better execution that you could have went with, and WWE decided not to do that, and that comes across as very, very disappointing here tonight. Either way, moving on here, Raw General Manager Kurt Angle was in the ring, and we're actually going to play this segment for you guys, if I can find it here on WWE.com, but the gist of this segment, just to stall time while I'm looking this up on YouTube, either way, the gist of this segment was that Kurt Angle was going to relay the message that Stephanie McMahon gave to him backstage on Monday Night Raw here tonight, and quite frankly, this is not on the YouTube, so we're just going to relay the message here tonight that Kurt Angle said. Raw General Manager was in the ring commenting on how he can't keep control of the show as he was watching the brawl that escalated between Sasha and Bayley. Either way, Angle says he spoke with Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon earlier, and officials have decided on the next title defense for the Universal Championship of Brock Lesnar. Angle says that the question is, who will the match be against? And the music is interrupted by none other than Roman Reigns. Bullshit. Reigns stares Angle down and says the answer to Angle's question is standing in front of him. Some fans boo, and Reigns says he beat Lesnar at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and everyone knows it. No, you didn't. I don't know that. Either way, Reigns says make the uncrowned WWE Universal Champion. That Angle should make him the uncrowned Universal Champion. Reigns says it's no secret Angle's having trouble running Raw, and it looks like a regular champion defending each week would help Angle. Angle goes on to make his announcement, but the music interrupts, and out comes Bobby Lashley. So not only did you have one person who is undeserving of the Universal Championship, you have two people in the ring who are undeserving of the Universal Championship. Well, how can this segment get any better? Holy shit. Either way, Lashley asks if Reigns is the guy. Lashley says Reigns doesn't have what it takes to finish the job on Lesnar. Well, quite frankly, I think Bobby Lashley doesn't have what it takes to finish a sentence, because he was stumbling all over his words here tonight. Either way, Lashley says this may be Reigns' yard, but he's been trying to get his hands on Lesnar since Reigns was a little pup. Lashley asks, why won't Reigns step aside and let someone who can beat Brock beat him? Lashley says he can defeat Reigns as well, and Angle says they are both deserving of a shot. No, they're not, but so are others. Angle announces a multi-person match. What else? WWE loves their multi-man matches, but he announces it for Extreme Rules and says he will announce the participants at a later date, but Reigns and Lashley are the first participants confirmed. And out come the Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Just one thing I want to point out. Kurt Angle said he was going to announce when the next date that Brock Lesnar would be appearing would be. Reigns came out and interrupted, and that was never announced in this segment. Just goes to show you how short-sighted and stupid WWE is. You originally started by saying, this is what we're going to announce. That's exactly what Kurt Angle came out and said, and Reigns interrupted, and he completely loses sight of that. What a boneheaded general manager. What a boneheaded script that you have there, that you completely lost sight of that by the time the segment was over. Either way, the Revival came out here tonight to pretty much be the fodder for Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley and WWE's typical booking. Well, they're both baby faces, and they both want the same thing. They have a little bit of conflict against each other. So you know what? Let's put them in a tag team matchup together where they will try to one-up each other. Oh my God, we've never seen that idea before. Oh wait, yes we have each and every other single time that this has come to the table. Either way, the Revival mocks Reigns and Lashley for demanding things, asking what happened to earning opportunities. You know what? I ask the same question because each and every single week, title shots are just given out for no reason. There's no number one contenders matches anymore. And each and every single time that we do get a number one contenders matchup, it's goddamn multi-man matches. Everybody gets an opportunity. It's no one-on-one. Everybody gets an opportunity. Gotta be kidding me with that one. Either way, the Revival goes on and challenges Lashley and Reigns to a match, billing it as two of the best single stars in the world versus the best tag team in the world. Dawson bets that they can't coexist and says that when they will, they will capitalize and get the win. Reigns mocks them and tells them to shut up. Reigns tells them to step in the ring and get taken to school. So it's the Revival versus Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. And this matchup was pretty much a game of one-upsmanship between Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns. Bobby Lashley actually hit a convincing finisher here tonight, as he hit a much more devastating spear than Roman Reigns ever did. And, I mean, that's exactly what happened when Roman Reigns was setting up for the spear here tonight. But Bobby Lashley tagged himself in, speared one of the members of the Revival, and this matchup was over before you could even blink. Who cares? Not I, not you. This was very basic. And the Revival, I mean, what are you doing with the Revival? Once one of the most decorated teams down in NXT, now fodder for acts that suck on Monday Night Raw, like Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. There was less charisma in this entire segment when both men are in the ring than there is in a goddamn vacuum cleaner. Oh my God. Either way, Angle and Corbin were backstage walking. Finn Balor appeared and tells Angle that he will do whatever it takes to get into the Extreme Rules match so he can get the WWE Universal title back. Corbin laughs at Balor and mocks him. They have words and Kevin Owens appears trying to calm them. Balor knocks them both and says Owens can't even see when danger is behind him. Braun Strowman appeared behind Owens and Owens scrambled to the other side with Corbin. Braun says he's here to watch after his buddy Balor. Since when are Braun Strowman and Finn Balor buddies? The past couple weeks on Monday Night Raw, building to Money in the Bank, they've been in matches against each other with some fierce competition. No time during those matches did Finn Balor appear to be Braun Strowman's buddy, but whatever the hell WWE wants to write on the script. Either way, Angle ends up walking off, calling this show a runaway train, and this ended up being the main event. It was Baron Corbin versus Kevin Owens against, of course, Braun Strowman and Finn Balor. We moved on to Mojo Rawley versus No Way Jose. If you think I care about this matchup, you must have less brain cells than a goddamn goldfish. Who the hell booked this one? This matchup was less relevant than anything else that you saw on Monday Night Raw here tonight. This was terrible, and Mojo Rawley even ended up winning this match. It just goes to show you how long ago did No Way Jose debut on Monday Night Raw. Now he's losing to Mojo Rawley. Great stuff. Great stuff on Monday Night Raw here tonight. Either way, more examples of people who are directionless on this show. More examples of people who I do not care about on this show. And for that reason, let's move on here. Either way, we see, I spoke about this, Bayley. She went after Sasha Banks. It was Elias here tonight. Who sung a absolutely wonderful performance. And holy shit, that was fantastic. I'm not going to play it for you guys just because of time constraints. But all I'll say, Elias, he sung a beautiful song. He was calling out the beast of Brock Lesnar. They gave him a full song here tonight, no interruptions, and that was absolutely fantastic. He sung about his matchup with Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank. He pokes at Rollins for losing the WWE Intercontinental Championship, and he also pretty much enters his name into the pool for people who should be considered for the Extreme Rules matchup. Beautiful performance, great song from Elias here tonight. He gets better and better at his craft by the goddamn night, by the week. Make sure to go check all of that out. That's on the WWE.com if you did not watch the show, or you did watch it. I enjoyed the hell out of Elias' performance, and quite frankly, I think he deserves a Grammy for that one. Either way, Seth Rollins was interviewed, and he was very, very heartbroken. You saw, like, tears, and his eyes were, like, watered out. Either way, Renee asks if the match on Sunday had anything to do with the loss tonight. Rollins doesn't want to make any excuses. He says Ziggler beat him for the title, and he lost. Renee asks about Drew McIntyre's interference, and Rollins says Drew is a problem that he has 1 week to solve because he's invoking his rematch clause next Monday, and that is exactly what we saw here tonight. But we did move on to Finn Balor and Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin in this matchup here tonight. And this matchup was so irrelevant that the most relevant thing about this matchup, the thing that caught my eye about this matchup was that Baron Corbin was goddamn wrestling in dress clothes. I mean, are you goddamn kidding me with that one? Baron Corbin could barely wrestle to begin with. Now you mean to tell me this guy is going to start wrestling in dress clothes? Who is he, Corporate Kane? At least Corporate Kane threw off the goddamn shirt. At least Corporate Kane threw off the goddamn shirt. Baron Corbin is dressing in a vest and a professional, nice looking shirt and slacks to wrestle. You've got to be kidding me with this garbage, bro. That is absolutely god-awful. You can't get this guy in his attire. Is it that hard for you to change, Corbin? You don't have a spare ring attire in there? Got to be kidding me with that one. But that's the most relevant thing in tonight's main event. Besides that, what impact does this have going into anything? A tag team matchup. What do these guys have to do with each other at this point? Nothing. They don't even have the similarity that they're all going into a Money in the Bank together. They don't even have that going for them. This matchup, I have no idea why the hell this was on the main event here tonight. And to think this was another night where it can be thrown into that example in that category where if these guys would have never beefed with each other in a segment, what would have been the main event here tonight? What would have been the main event if Baron Corbin, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, and Braun Strowman didn't pick beef with each other? What would have been in the slot? I mean, you got to be kidding me with that one. That makes zero sense right there. There's another plot hole, but that happens every week on WWE television, so can you even classify that as a plot hole at this point? Either way, Baron Corbin ended up winning this matchup. He defeated Finn Balor clean in this matchup. Not a good look for Finn Balor. Yet another name who is directionless, by the way, on Monday Night Raw here tonight. But it definitely looks impressive for Kevin Owens, who was injured in this matchup, clearly selling the effects of last night. And I guess it looks impressive for Mr. Constable Corbin. But what does it do for Corbin? Because he's not going to be challenging for any titles. He has a comfy role as a office type guy, as a constable of Monday Night Raw. His shit involves paperwork and making decisions on Raw. What does he have to do with winning matches on Raw? Who does this impress? What titles is this guy qualifying for at this point? Why the hell was he even in a matchup here tonight? And believe me, seeing Baron Corbin in the matchup isn't even that much of a treat. So what type of presence did Baron Corbin have in this matchup? I have absolutely no idea. And quite frankly, this main event dumbfounded me, and nothing exciting came from this, and just goes to show you how this show deteriorated beyond the first two things, which took up the first 40 minutes of Monday Night Raw. Beyond those first two things, there was nothing on this show that screamed at you, this is goodness. And quite frankly, this show suffered because of that. WWE needs to put something together, because especially at a slower time for WWE television like this cannot continue to be the case where this crap is so garbage and so unimportant to anything going on your weekly television. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be all right here on your Monday Night Raw review for the date of June 18th, 2018. Hopefully you enjoyed each and every single thing that you heard here. Make sure to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Of course, there is so much other content for all of you to go check out each and every single week. Raw reviews like you're watching right now, Smackdown live reviews, pay-per-view reviews, Behind the Mic, which will be returning this week. Of course, NXT TakeOver coverage. There are tournaments coming up this summer. We will be covering them right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Of course, the UK tournament two-day event is happening. We will be covering that. That is actually next Monday. We'll be covering that, I guess, in the evening. And that's Monday and Tuesday of next week. And, of course, there is the Megan Classic coming later this summer. Later in the summer, pretty much going into the fall. So you can expect all of that right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. So much content. No better time to subscribe than now. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. And, of course, click that like button. Make sure to click on that notification bell as well. And comment what you're thinking down in the comment section below. Because for now, this has been Joel Perez of Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. And for now, I am out of here. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. I will see you all next time right here on Ringside Wrestling.